Would you breathe with me, please? Breathe it in. And I'm glad that Joanne included Puerto Rico in the love train. And I'd like you to breathe in and send some healing love to that little island. And to anyone else who may be suffering or in pain or in fear right now. Take it in. Just send it out. It's a wonderful thing that happens when we join together like that in our hearts and in our minds. So last weekend's grand opening, what did you think? Was that amazing or what? Yeah? I know. Everything that I could imagine. But after it, I spent a couple of days in the mountains with my sister and my nephew who had come up to celebrate with us because she's a practitioner, so it was kind of nice to have her be part of this celebration. She's been with me every step of the way. And so it was kind of taxing, you know, the weeks leading up to it was kind of taxing. It was a little bit intense. So I figured that I deserved a couple of days of R&R up in the mountains. However, we had limited time up there, and I don't know, have you ever been to those Canadian Rockies that are like an hour east and west of here? There's like a lot to do. Are you understanding what I'm saying? We wanted my nephew to have the full experience, and so we crammed a week's worth of sightseeing into just a little over 2 days. So we did the Bow Valley Parkway, we did Johnston Canyon, Lake Louise, the Icefield Parkway, all the way up to the Athabasca Falls and back. Banff, Bow Falls, Lake Minnewanka. We found this was really cool. We went to, I mean, who would have thought it? We went to the golf course, the Banff golf course, and there were like hundreds of elk. And it was the rut. And so there were the lady elks, you know, they're kind of grazing and, you know, pretending like they're not paying attention. And then there's these bull elks and they're just bugling and I mean, it was intense. We saw that 3 nights in a row. And in addition to all of this, so then we're driving back and I see this shadowy figure in front of the car that I think was a lynx. Swear to God, the incredible fall colors, including the larches, and we were accosted by aggressive squirrels. All in 2 days. So even though it was supposed to be kind of time away to rest and recuperate, it ended up being this whirlwind of activity, which was ironic because I knew that I was going to be talking about balance this week. So even though I knew I was talking about a balanced life, I still managed to cram all of this stuff into this little tiny little couple of days and put everything into it. So to add to the irony, so I'm talking about, should be all like, hey, balance and everything. To add to the irony, we were also there during the fall equinox, which the equinox is the perfect balance between daylight and nighttime. And it's when there are exactly the same number of hours of day and exactly the same number of hours of night. So it is perfectly balanced, equal. That's the root word, equinox. It is balanced and equal. And so with everything in nature, because you know I'm such a nature lover, because the fall equinox happens every year without fail, absolutely, what it tells us is that balance is a normal and natural way to live life. Balance is normal and natural. The challenge is in today's world where everything is sped up almost to the point of freneticism, we've come to believe that freneticism is the natural way of living and the natural way of being. But of course it isn't. Which is why so many people deal with lives that feel out of control. Anybody? Anybody? Oh, one person. Only one person. The rest of you come up and give the talk, obviously. So one of the secrets to learning to live a life of balance is to pay attention to nature, to pay attention to the universe, how the universe works. Because when we observe nature, and like I said, you know I'm a nature observer, when we observe nature, we come to understand that even in spite of what appears to be chaos of natural disasters like hurricanes and earthquakes and fires and all this other kind of stuff, even in spite of that, there is still balance, there is order. It's just that we can't necessarily see it with our limited perspective. Ernest Holmes, our founder, said this. He said, the universe remains forever in perfect balance. No thought or creation of man can confuse the eternal heavens. It can confuse the heck out of us, but it can't confuse the heavens. The perfect action of intelligence maintains its creation in peace, order, and harmony. I'm going to say that again. The perfect action of intelligence with a capital I maintains its creation in peace, order, and harmony. So by illustration, let's look at the four seasons. Now, even when everything has to change in every season in order to give way to the next one, it is always done with absolute grace and harmony. For instance, what we're going through right now is fall, and the leaves are falling, and everything is preparing itself to go into the dormancy of winter. And yet, what we also know that even in the dormancy of winter, there is still all kinds of cool stuff going on underneath the surface, because nothing is ever dead, nothing is ever really dormant. There's all this activity going on underneath. It's just that we can't see it, right? And then the starkness of winter gives way to the activity of spring, and everything is bursting forth and waking up and flourishing. And then spring gives way to summer, and then everything is coming forth into fruition. And then it leads into the activity of fall again, which is what we're having right now. And the harvest is taking place, and nature begins to slow down again. It is all in perfect harmony, in perfect timing. As it says in the Christian Bible, to everything there is a season and a time for every purpose under heaven. So that's the way that nature does it, in balance and in harmony. So the question is that the way we do it? Not necessarily. Because some of us think that balance looks like this, right? We have these many things going on, all this stuff, and they all seem of equal importance, and we're spinning the plates and we're doing all this. And there may be times when we have absolutely perfect balance, when everything begins to go smoothly. But the challenge happens is that when one of the things begins to start to spin out of control. And so we got to put our attention on that. And then something over here begins to spin out of control. But because we've got our attention on this, then this thing starts to, and then everything comes crashing down. Yes? Yeah. Anybody? No? Yeah. Okay? Okay. Woo! Okay. Is it perhaps that we're trying to keep too many things going? And the problem is we begin to feel like failures because we couldn't keep what is clearly an unreasonable amount of things going. We can't keep them going. And I'm not saying everybody is like that. I know some of you are masters of multitasking. And you can keep projects going. And you can keep priorities in place. But the question still remains. When there is that much stuff going on, how much of our focus, how much of our attention are we putting on the things that are truly important? Think about that. If we're really good at multitasking, how present can we really be when something needs our undivided attention if we've got all this other stuff that's occupying our minds and our energy. Now, I'm not saying that we have to let go of everything that we think is important. I'm just saying that perhaps readjusting our priorities will bring more balance into our lives. I love this quote by Dan Millman. I learned that we can do anything, but we can't do everything, at least not at the same time. So think about your priorities not in terms of what activities you do, but when you do them. Timing is everything. And this is what I have noticed, ladies and gentlemen, is that sometimes if I let go of the stuff that is not important right now, and I put my focus on what is my priority at this particular time, something absolutely magical happens. And the universe begins to rearrange itself to support me in a balanced and orderly way because I've got my priorities straight. Is this making sense? Is this making sense? Okay. For instance, look at this gal. Now, she's spinning a lot of plates, right? Also, she's multitasking. But if you can see that, the things that she's got work, friends, school, other family stuff, kids, and husband. So, put whatever you need to, I would have to put Annie the dog, and George and Lucy the cats, right? I'd have to put that. But if you notice, because she has her priorities straight, there isn't a whole lot of extraneous stuff. And if you notice, she's looking pretty happy, right? She's keeping things going. You'd almost think that there was intelligence at work because she is focusing on her priorities. So you may be wondering what this has to do with spirituality and faith. I mean, you can read O Magazine and get what I'm teaching you about living a balanced life. You can watch a TED Talk. I know you all do that. Watch TED Talks. Oh yeah. But when it becomes spiritual is when we begin to understand how life with a capital L really works. We begin to trust that the things that we are doing in this life, we are doing with the support of this incredibly intelligent universe. We understand that order and balance are absolutely things that are essential to everything working in harmony. And we can begin to look again at the four seasons. Did you like the four-season analogy? I like it. It worked for me for this talk. So you don't see the seasons trying to cram too many things into their time, right? No? They simply trust that what is done, that needs to be done, is done. Yeah? It doesn't matter if something doesn't get done, then whatever it is, then maybe it wasn't its time, or maybe it wasn't necessary. The seasons don't stress. They don't worry. They don't spin plates. They just express who they are. They express why they're here. And then they give way to the next season. And so from that, what we can learn is that when we are going with a natural flow and we are allowing right action to take place, it takes precedence over trying to cram things into these already busy lives, because that just doesn't make sense. Now, of course, it doesn't mean that we don't participate, we don't plan our lives. Of course we do. All of us, we need to. I'm looking back here in our family room at our mamas with little kids. They've got to plan their lives. They've got to plan their lives. They've got to know the things that are going on. But it just means that we allow ourselves to put something less important down, so that we can focus on what is important. It even means, oh God forbid, saying no to something. Except if we ask you to do something for the center. Then the answer is yes. But if we allow ourselves to put something down, if we allow ourselves to let go of less important things, doesn't mean that we can't pick that something up again. But when we do, it will be graceful and it will be effortless as opposed to frenetic and chaotic. So Dr. Holmes said this: there is a law of cause and effect that beats us up when we beat life up, and will beat the living stuffing out of us until we get tired of it and have had enough and act in accord with the laws of harmony, which are fundamental to the nature of God and the universe in which you and I live. OMG! Oh my goodness! There is a law that is going to continue to beat us up, beat the living stuffing out. I love that. If we are out of alignment, we get beat back into alignment, yes? You understand what I'm talking about? I can totally relate to this. I'm getting the living stuffing beaten out of me more than once because I am not in alignment. And when I get back in alignment, then things begin to go my way again because I am in harmony with the world around me. The term that comes to my mind when I think about living a balanced life is going with the flow and allowing. So what I'd like to do now, is John in the room? Oh, John. I'd like to take you through a little bit of a guided visualization. Can you do that? Or can you noodle for us? Oliver, he's in the flow. Look at him, look how amazing he is. So I'd like to invite you to close your eyes. Make yourselves comfortable. And breathe. There's no place you need to be, nothing you need to be doing. Now bring to mind the many things that have priority in your life right now. And as you think of them as spinning plates that you need to keep going. Just feel the energy in the room as people are imagining all of their priorities and all of their spinning plates. And continue adding them in, doing your best to keep everything spinning. And now, before everything comes crashing down, put the plates on a table in front of you. See all of the things that are in front of you to do. And now take a breath and imagine yourself consciously stepping in to the flow of life. Feel the energy, the wisdom, the love, the orderliness, and the intelligence of the universe surrounding you. Feel yourself becoming one with that flow. And allow yourself to connect to the wisdom. Breathe into it. And from this place of connection, look at the table piled high with all of your priorities. And pick the one that is most important. Maybe it's your family, health, school, a loved one. Maybe complete your spiritual life. And using the spinning plate analogy, begin that plate spinning. Noticing that while you are in the flow, keeping the balance is easy. Now pick another priority and start it spinning. You are in the flow. You are balanced. Add another as you continue to feel yourself being absolutely supported. You are aware of the other priorities on the table, and you are now in a position to determine whether or not they are actual priorities. Because you now have the wisdom, the intelligence, and the orderliness of the universe within you. You can easily and effortlessly make the decision that supports you in having a balanced, healthy, and happy life. Take in another deep breath. And when you're ready, begin to come back to the room. And when you feel ready to open your eyes. And I'd like to close with a beautiful quote by the late, great Louise L. Hay. No person, no place, and no thing has any power over us, for we are the only thinkers in our mind. When we create peace and harmony and balance in our minds, we will find it in our lives. So here is to a balanced life, and so it is.